When you're traveling down the road, it's not uncommon to see a variety of animals crossing the street. Sometimes we see armadillos, other times it may be a raccoon. Snakes are another common one we see, and sometimes we even see tiny little guys like scorpions. Squirrels are common almost all across North America, and turtles are one of my favorite creatures to see. But just because you see an animal crossing the road doesn't mean you should stop and try to pet it. That can end poorly and can also be dangerous. While this sight can be somewhat intimidating at first, especially when you moved to the Ozarks and didn't realize there was tarantulas here, once you get used to it, it's a really special time of year. So the Texas brown tarantula, some people call the Arkansas chocolate tarantula, rather common in certain areas of the state here in the Ozarks, but not often seen because a lot of times it's going to be in a burrow, under a rock, somewhere hidden. And it's not till the fall migration, if you will, the mating season, when all these males start coming up out of their burrows. I thought I just saw another one on the road. And crawling around to go find the females. And I mean, it's not uncommon for me even driving to see these. This one, last night after dark, just saw something that looked a little different on the road and said, that looks like a tarantula. And it was the first one for the year for me of the season of the fall here. And sure enough it was. I remember a time I was really only going about 10 minutes away. There were 3 of them crossing the road. And that's generally going to happen between August and November. Right now, mid-September, perfect time for these guys to be out cruising. And once it starts, it kind of happens very quickly where there's just a bunch, and then just like that, boom, they're gone once again. So since this is the first one of the season for me, it's likely that right in the Ozarks right now, we're going to see a lot more of this over the next couple weeks especially. And they're going to kind of disappear and go back underground. We've also noticed that sometimes if it's a really rainy season, that'll force these out of their burrows and they'll be up at the surface level a lot more because they don't want to be in flooded underground holes. As always, these are wild creatures, best to be left in the wild, although many tarantulas are kept as pets and some people just catch them and detain them, feed them some stuff. It's best for these to be out in their natural environment. The more of these that are out there now, the more that'll be out there later. These guys do have fangs. I've never been bit by one, and tarantula venom isn't really threatening to people, the same way like rattlesnake venom would be. But then they also have little barbed hairs that they can shed if they get scared. And they'll drop them on your skin, and they can actually itch. In fact, like if you remember comic books back in the day, sometimes they'd have little ads in the back of them. You could buy itch powder. A lot of times, it'd be tarantula hairs that you'd buy this itching powder, sprinkle it on somebody's neck, all of a sudden they're itching a bunch. That's one of the self-defense mechanisms that these tarantulas have. So this guy's going to go back out on the prowl, go try to find a female, and try to reproduce for the next generation. Just thought I would take the moment that we had them, share them with you guys, and say, hey, if you see this going on, this is what's happening. It's their breeding season. One of the best times to encounter and observe them, but also one of the best times to, let them go about their way and carry about their business because they're working on the future of their species by reproducing. We'll see you next time. Papa out.